Have you ever pondered on the intricate connection between the climate crisis and conflict death rates? As the planet warms, it's becoming increasingly clear that these two elements are not isolated, but rather inextricably linked. In recent times, we've seen a surge in violent conflicts, particularly in regions grappling with the worst of the climate crisis. Latin America, for instance, has become a deadly ground for climate activists. According to a report by Global Witness, the global climate crisis has led to a surge in violence against land and environmental defenders, with Latin America being the most dangerous region for them. In 2020 alone, a record high of 227 activists were murdered, more than double the number in 2013. It's not just the activists who are bearing the brunt. The ordinary people living in these regions are suffering too. For instance, the climate crisis is driving migration, particularly from the Central America dry corridor, where droughts have increased food insecurity. This correlation between the climate crisis and conflict death rates is not just confined to Latin America. The International Monetary Fund predicts that deaths from conflict in fragile states could increase by almost 10% by 2060, and an additional 50 million people in these states could face hunger by the same year, all thanks to the climate crisis. Even historically, we find evidence of this correlation. The period surrounding the French Revolution of 1789 was marked by climate disruptions and political upheaval. The Northern Hemisphere experienced prolonged cooling known as the Little Ice Age, which led to crop failures, livestock deaths, and widespread hardship. This climate disruption exacerbated an ongoing financial crisis and political conflict over reforms, eventually leading to the French Revolution. The current warming crisis caused by human actions poses even greater risks of conflict and violence. As the climate shifts, conflict over natural resources is worsening. Indigenous people, who represent a third of all victims, are disproportionately affected due to their role as frontline defenders of the environment. So what can we do about it? Well, mitigating climate change should be at the top of our list. By reducing our carbon footprint, switching to renewable energy, and advocating for climate-friendly policies, we can all play our part in this fight. The world's largest emitters, including the United States, China, India, and Russia, need to step up their efforts in this regard. The World Economic Forum is already working on initiatives to encourage innovative energy investments and solutions. We need to protect our planet, not just for us, but for future generations. The time to act is now. Climate change is not just an environmental issue, it's a matter of life and death. Let's not sit back and watch as the world heats up and conflict death rates rise. Let's do our bit to save our planet before it's too late.